Well, I guess at least I managed to record 3 videos in advance, which is pretty good, right? Cheers! Welcome back, everybody, to me, doing a weekly navel-gazing where I talk about all the stuff I didn't read last week and all the videos I did make last week and all the books I plan to read this week and all the videos that I maybe make this week. We will find out. And then it sends into normal rambling and stuff like that. Let's do that. So yeah, let's do the reading first. I didn't read much last week because I went to a festival. I went there on Tuesday. Well, I went to visit friends on Tuesday to then go from there to the festival on Wednesday early morning. And it turns out that listening to audiobooks at a metal festival where you spend 4 hours per night in your tent, roughly, does not lead to a lot of audiobook listening or any form of reading. So, yeah, not much happening. I did, however, continue reading, and I did, however, finish. Well, not finish. I did, however, start a book that I'm going to finish very, very soon, and that is The Broken Land by Ian MacDonald. One of those really, really interesting books so far. Seriously, go read the damn thing if you can find it somewhere, which may be kind of difficult, because it turns out that the audiobook, which I bought, years ago, has been removed from Audible basically anywhere, I think. It's certainly no longer available in Germany, but from what I can tell, it's also no longer available in the US, which makes getting it back from my library into my phone a bit of a hassle, because I have to actually go to the website and open it on the website where I can stream it, and there I can click on download in or open an app, and then I can listen to it on my phone, which also is, it's a very interesting thing. I don't know what's going on there. At least it's still there, and my money has not been wasted. But now I'm finally reading it. I'm having, fun is probably the wrong word so far. It's Ian MacDonald. It's absolutely impressive. It's also very dark. It's about religious conflict and imperialism and how those two things intersect. And if you've ever thought about places where this happened, say Ireland, or say the Balkans, or say Israel and Palestine, or all kinds of parts of Africa, you may kind of have ideas of where this could be going. So yeah. Proceed with caution, but also proceed if you can find the book anywhere, because it is magically, wonderfully written while dealing with something this dark and brutal as a science fiction novel in the far future. So, go read it, as I'm going to finish it. So that was quick, wasn't it? Let's talk about books that I plan to read this week, then. And, yes, I think there will be a book that I'll start tomorrow if I manage to finish The Broken Land by then. And that is, of course, Blackheart Man by Nala Hopkinson, which I have pre-ordered on audio. It comes out tomorrow. I am incredibly excited about it. Last year I read her book, The Salt Roads, which is currently free on Audible, so I don't know, go get it and check it out. It's really good. I'm going to read her new novel that comes out tomorrow. It seems to be about, once again, imperialism, post-colonial, colonialism, stuff like that, which you can expect from someone like Nala Hopkinson, who deals with her Caribbean background in a lot of cases, in a lot of ways. So I am very excited about this. Beyond that, I haven't really thought about what I'll read. There is another festival coming up at the end of the week, so we'll see. I am looking at also reading A Fire Upon the Deep by Vernor Vinge, because that's for my offline book club I have with some friends, or have had with forever with my friends. If I can squeeze that one in, I'll read that one as well. It's a classic. Vinge passed away earlier this year. He's a classic writer of a lot of stuff, so I'm excited to finally get to one of his novels. And, maybe in the future I'll even read the book that his wife wrote that actually won a Hugo Award in the 80s, The Winter Queen. I think I should do that at some point. But, there's too many books, there's not enough time, and even less money for, buying these books. So that's the reading plans roughly for this week. If I can, I'll probably squeeze in some more Ian MacDonald reading. I've wanted to sort of read more of his novels. I've read a bunch of them. I've read his first one, Desolation Road, and I've read Brazil and River of Gods and The Dervish House, and of course Hopeland earlier this year. Not last year, that was last year. I've also read King of Morning, Queen of Day, which I talked about in detail, and I've read Paper, Wrap, Scissors, Cut Stone. Oh, that's different. I get it wrong. Scissors Cut Paper Wrap Stone. That's the right version around it. And so now I'm reading The Broken Land, and I want to read his Chaga trilogy, which is another dark topic because Ian MacDonald is not dealing with light topics. So I'm very excited about that one. It starts with Chaga in some places of the world, and that one is called Evolution is Sure in other places of the world, because Ian MacDonald is incredibly unlucky when it comes to book titles, publishing, and all of that, because The Broken Land is also called Hands, Hearts, and Voices in the UK, so if you find that version of the book, go get that one. But yeah, that's roughly where I am with reading plans. Next week on Tuesday, Six Lives by Lavi T. Dara comes out, so I'll try to get my reading done before that, so I can dive into that one immediately. I'll also try to wrap up the Reading Echo anthology, if I can manage that one. There's a couple essays left in that one as well. So those are reading plans. They're exciting, aren't they? Let's talk about videos. Alright, videos. I did publish 3 videos last week, which is pretty impressive because, they were all pre-recorded, and me being incredibly bad at pre-recording stuff, you know how it is. But I asked you, and you said you wanted them in, one after the other, so I put up the video for James S.A. Corey's new book, The Mercy of Gods, on Tuesday, and I think a lot of you watched it. I still have to reply to comments because, I came back in the afternoon yesterday and I haven't really caught up with everything yet. I put up that one. I also put up videos for finally Water Sleeps and Soldiers Live by Glenn Cook, the final books in the main sequence of The Chronicles of the Black Company, and I've got some interesting comments on those. I've seen those comments. I still haven't had time to reply. I will, though, I promise. And I'm glad I finished that project because, I'm really good at, stopping projects, but this one I managed to finish the main sequence finally, 3 years after starting it, but, it is what it is. And both have seen, almost, the view numbers are almost as bad as Terry Pratchett view numbers. It seems that once again you have the problem with booktube, that if you're talking about something that is not part of the main thing or something that is currently coming out with a big name author, no one will find it, no one will watch it. It's just, we're a very small community. I think we sometimes forget that, and some parts of that community, if you're going to some a niche that is even more of a niche, not only the first Black Company book with a lot more people have watched, and a lot of more people read, but if you go all the way to the end of the series, there's just not that many people interested in it, I feel, which is a shame because those final books are really, really good. So those videos came out. I'm really, really thankful for everyone who watched those. So these are the videos that I said that I put up last week, which is pretty good considering that I haven't, I had to do that from my phone, which is a pain in the ass if you're at a festival that does not have very constant internet access because there's way too many people in a very small area. Videos for this week. Hopefully. So if all goes well, there will be videos on The Broken Land, and because I've already, I have thoughts about it, a lot of them, and there will of course be a video about The Black Heart Man by Nala Hopkinson, and that's sort of what I have planned. There is still the idea of doing videos on subjects like replying to Johan from Library of the Vikings, why you shouldn't trust booktubers, and the whole Neil Gaiman situation, and I I'm still trying to figure out how to deal with that, because this is sort of where we end up in the rambly part, right? But before we go there, let me just quickly announce I've managed to do like another thing in advance, which I'm like, proud of that I managed to do that. And that is, of course, I have already set up the live stream. We're doing another monthly Marxist malcontent at the end of the month on the 31st of August. And I have a special guest for that one, and that is Cleo, the bemused bookworm. I'm really happy that Cleo agreed to join me for this one. We'll be talking about stuff. I have no idea what this stuff will be. I mean, the whole thing. Possibly we'll talk about some disability representation in books. Maybe. We will see. It's certainly something that I know Cleo has made videos about, and I certainly do have some sort of like, some skin in the game, so to speak, so I feel that might be an interesting topic to maybe descend into. But then again, it's monthly Marxist malcontent. Whatever comes up will come up, and possibly rage. We will see. So yeah, mark your calendars for the wonderful conversation I will be having live on the 31st with Cleo, the bemused bookworm. And let's return to the video plan thing, because I think that's like one of those sort of weirder ones, I guess. Because I have had like these thoughts of making videos on, or a video on a subject that I've, thought about a lot, and that is, of course, sort of like the responsibilities and surrounding matter around booktube, or being on booktube, or being a booktuber of a certain size. And I've been thinking about those for a long time. Those of you who watch, live streams or other stuff know that I return to that from time to time, because I tend to think a lot about like what we can do as booktubers with our platforms, and what we should do or what we shouldn't do, and so forth. So it's a bit of an ongoing thing in my head. When I watched Johan's video, I was like, yeah, he makes some really good points, but there's something a way I want to like extend the conversation in that regard. And this is sort of the other problem, which is where the Neil Gaiman thing comes in. See, you have heard about the allegations against Neil Gaiman. I'm pretty sure all of you have heard about them. Over the last month and a bit, there have been some, the podcast came out, all the other stuff came out. There have been a few videos on YouTube. Most of those, however, have not been from the booktube sphere. They have been from other places, like General Geek Culture. The Council of Geeks made like 2 videos about it now, and they're like really good. And some other people have made interesting videos about the larger discussion. I know there's some videos in the comic sphere, which makes sense because of, Neil Gaiman's connection to the Sandman, and the Sandman being really big in the sort of like graphic novel sphere, obviously also with the TV shows of both Good Omens and Thing being out. There's a larger sort of interest in what Neil Gaiman does in the larger fandom sphere, I think. And this is sort of where my point comes in, because I feel I don't necessarily need to talk too much about the details of the allegations and so forth, because that has been covered in probably by people who are more experienced at doing that kind of stuff. But what I want to talk about is how maybe the lack of response from like fantasy booktube is a symptom of a larger issue, which then, and this is here where my troubles lie, dovetails or kind of turns back into the whole thing of like responsibilities that we have as booktubers, or maybe don't have, or should talk about whether we have those, I think is the proper term there. Yeah. But now I'm struggling, because while those, like the gaming thing is an important thing here, tying it back to a good video by Johan, like, here's my response, and also tying in the Neil Gaiman allegations, which are obviously heavy content warnings, all the stuff that you need that's connected to that, feels like sort of maybe betraying the trust of, well, not that I know that I have a lot of trust from Library of a Viking, but from Johan, but sort of betraying that trust, because it would sort of almost drag him into a conversation that I don't know if he's willing to have, or if he's even, because I don't know if he's ever talked about Neil Gaiman before, so that, you know what I mean? I'm trying to talk about two things that are heavily related, but I don't want to burn like that's the wrong terminology, like, I don't want to make the larger conversation impossible by also tackling the very specific and, for all the wrong reasons, highly controversial Neil Gaiman stuff into that. And that's sort of where I'm struggling, because there will be repetitions between those two videos. Otherwise, there's no sense in doing them. And I'm still I haven't figured out how to do that, because believe it or not, I try to not start YouTube drama, or at least not in bad faith, right? I'm always willing to call out and yell at people if they fuck up, according to my very specific moral compass. But if they're not fucking up, dragging them into something that is fucked up by definition feels wrong. So I'm trying to not do that, and I'm trying to find a way to make that happen without hurting any feelings. You know what I mean? So maybe that will be 2 videos, maybe that will be one video. I just don't know yet. It's all a bit, complicated. So there's that. Maybe you have ideas on like how to do that, so forth. If so, I'm always willing to hear you out down in the comments. If you think it's a too personal thing, you can always, message me on Discord or whatever. I'm willing to listen to all of that. It is, just me trying to sort of do the right thing, I guess, and still start a conversation that I think we on BookTube, or at least our smaller corner of BookTube, to which I sort of guess I sometimes belong, or maybe don't, and we don't know. We don't need to litigate that right now, but like, yeah. We need to have that larger conversation about responsibility, I think. So that's like stuff that I've been thinking about. Obviously, you can hear from my voice. It's still kind of wrecked, because it turns out that screaming your lungs out for 4 days is not good if you want to talk later. I also got like a pretty bad sunburn, because it turns out not wearing a shirt for 4 days is even worse for your health. And I'm not really good at taking care of my health, because I'm an idiot. So there's all of that. The number of videos that I'll be able to make this week will also sort of depend on how quickly my voice is recovering. Because, talking for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes straight is somewhat stressing for your vocal cords. That's sort of the main stuff that I wanted to talk about today. It's a bit of a shorter ramble, because once again, I need to sort of protect my voice and stuff. Anyway, I'm really, really thankful for each and everyone who took the time to actually watch the or comment on the 2 Black Company videos. It meant a lot to me to finally finish them, and seeing at least some of you really appreciating what I did there. Definitely makes up for there only being a few of you. At least you're the cool kids now. At least according to my lights, which probably doesn't mean that much. Anyway, so really thank you very much for that. Go check out some Ian McDonald books. It's a general thing that I should say more. He's definitely one of those writers I maybe want to do more videos on, because he's so underappreciated on BookTube, and I want to change that. And I'll check out the new Nella Hopkinson novel. You really should. She's another one that's underappreciated on BookTube, and we need to change that. That's that. I'll see you in the next one tomorrow, Wednesday, whatever. Thanks for sticking with me. Like, subscribe, I don't know, comment, yell at me in the comments. I always appreciate that. There's a Patreon if you feel like it. No pressure there. I'll see you very soon, and until then, thanks and cheers.